right, so it's Monday night. It's Sweep the League all over again. We were on a hiatus last week because it was Labor Day, and because we work with nothing but the hardest working men in the business, decided to take the night off. It's Rudy, it's The Rock, it's Shemaya, it's Stats. Candace is on mommy duty tonight, so she's not going to be joining us tonight. And Derek is working hard to get the Team Gervin back up and running again. He's doing a fantastic job. He might jump in here in a little while, but this is Sweep the League and an exciting ass weekend, man. We're talking Shemaya and Rock put in the work, man. We had the TMB Promotions Firepower Boxing event over at the Port Tech or the Tech Port Center. That was an amazing venue. I'm still in shock and awe at how everything went. It was a fantastic night. Not only that, Stats was representing Sweep the League up at Dallas with the Cowboys and Buccaneers, which we're going to get into that as well. Got a lot of pissed off Cowboy fans, but it's time to set the record straight when it comes to who's at fault. Again, this is Sweep the League, Baller Boys podcast. I am Refocus Radio. All great listens. You have the D Gervin Big Mo show on Facebook as well with Derek Gervin and Paul McKeskey. Gentlemen, the weekend. What a weekend of football, man. First off, I mean, could you have asked for a better weekend, college and NFL?
I don't think so, man. I mean, I'm just in a good mood and a shitty mood because, I mean, Cowboys and Longhorns lost, but I'm in a good mood because football's back and it's like the best time of the year. And like you said, it was very exciting college and NFL.
I agree. What do you got, Stats?
Man, it was exciting. Well, it was my first Dallas Cowboys game, so that was fun. The experience was a lot of fun. AT&T is awesome. The fans were cool. The experience in general, just the ambience of everything, just taking it all in. I mean, it was all that was better than the game, as you all saw. The Cowboys didn't really show up. I felt bad for the defense, but we'll get into all that here in a bit. But overall, fun trip. Good stuff. I'm glad football is back, and we had a lot of upsets this weekend. Like a lot of top seeded college teams went down.
You know what's crazy, Rudy? I've never been to a Cowboys game in my life, and I'm a Cowboys fan.
Wait, really, Rock?
I've never been. No, I mean, and, I'm a UT fan as well. And last season was the first time ever I've been to a UT game. And then me going to UTSA, like that was my first time ever in a college football game. So they're super fun. But I always wanted to go to the Cowboys game. But tickets are just so expensive. But I imagine you maybe. I mean, I don't know where you sat, but I mean, you seemed like you said it's worth it. Even the experience itself, wherever you sit. But I mean, I got offered to go last year, but my friend was like, "Oh yeah, just like $500." I was like, "Oh well, just casually, just $500."
Ours were not 500, but the cool thing about AT&T is there isn't really a bad seat in the house. Like we were up in the top seats and you could just see everything. You'd see the whole field. Nothing was obstructing your view either. So I mean, you can't really go wrong, but you are gonna have to save a little bit to go because the ticket is one thing, but man, all of the stuff there is expensive. So I highly recommend.
I heard parking was like $50 or $100.
Yeah, you don't want to park. Just take an Uber. Honestly, man. Take an Uber, get stuffed, like split a couple of pizzas with some friends before the game, get stuffed beforehand because you do not want to buy any food over there.
Well, Shemaya's actually going on vacation. Shemaya, you ready for your Vegas trip, man? Especially after the weekend that we had in boxing.
Yeah, I'm ready to disappear for a few days and then come back basically refreshed.
You're going to a finals game, right? WNBA finals game?
Ooh.
Yeah, it shows how committed I am. So when I go Tuesday, that same day, that night, I will be cheering on the Aces, and hopefully they will do really well and get that W. And obviously going to support the head coach, Becky, and cross my fingers and toes that she represents San Antonio in a big way.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she will, man. We hope you come back a millionaire for sure in Vegas. I am
wearing the T-shirt. It's in my suitcase, Rudy. I told you.
Yeah,
I'm wearing that T-shirt at the game. So if I get on TV, somebody needs to screenshot that because I'm right behind the basket on the floor.
Nice, because that's tomorrow night, the game. So I'm definitely going to be watching that. There's no football tomorrow, so I'll definitely be watching WNBA finals and looking for our very own and I Am Refocused Radio Zone Shemaya on the beats with that Sweep the League shirt. I feel like if you get caught on camera with it, that we should probably do some kind of giveaway or something. We'll figure something
Ooh.
out. That'd be pretty awesome if somebody snaps it.
You can do like a Where's Waldo, but where's Shemaya? And then if someone's finds him,
I like that. Yeah, screenshot it and tweet at Rudy. Yeah,
where's Shemaya?
There you go. There you
I
go.
will buy someone Burger Boy. That's a promise.
Oh, we got Burger Boy on that.
Yeah, I don't do that often, so I'm making that a promise. Someone does that and tweets at Rudy, or just tweets and finds Rocky or Mark or Derek or Candace, somebody, me. I will get you Burger Boy, but only one person, the first one to do it.
Yeah, we can do it by timestamp on that. So that's pretty easy. Well, there you go. We got a contest this week. Find Shemaya at the WNBA Finals game. Snap that picture, and he'll buy you Burger Mart. I even may up it up and add something to the prize list there. So definitely going to be fun for Shemaya on the beats going out to Las Vegas. Wish him the best of luck out there. One thing that I did want to cover before we head into Manu Ginobili Hall of Fame talk, as well as all the doings of football this weekend, I wanted to get into the TMB promotion this past Saturday. Rick Morones does a fantastic job. The atmosphere was electric. All of us have been lucky enough, Rock, Shemaya, and Stats, as myself as well, have all been lucky enough to cover a TMB promotion event. And we're looking forward to the next one because it just seems like our coverage is getting better and better every time that we're covering these events for Rick. Give me a quick couple of seconds of y'all's opinion on it. We'll get the stats on the last one because I know he might be able to chime in here when we cover the last one. But Rock, your first boxing experience, man, you even had an article come out for the Express News showing some love. Let everybody know how that atmosphere was.
Dude, that atmosphere was electric. I cannot reiterate it. Even though some people, to some people, they may hear, local boxing, they may have that perception, just like some average type of guys, or just some random Joes, trying to box and make a name for themselves. Even then, if you see it like that, these guys, like you kept telling me, these guys are gonna be up and coming. You told me, there were some upcoming boxers like Robert Garcia, Henry Arredondo, and Robert Biggie Rodriguez, who could follow the path of Barrios, Franco, and what's his name? I can't think of the top of my head. But dude, seeing those boxers live and just hearing the shots that they were taking, and you could see them when they walk by because we were right there where the entrance is, and you would see their face just welted up. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. I'm like, you cannot pay me to take those shots. Like one hit and I'm done. I was like, geez, Louise. And I kept making a joke with security guys. Hey, when's it going to be our next fight? But I know that old man, me and the old man, I bet you that old man has old man strength and he'll knock my ass out.
It was funny because if you go back and look at some of the highlights, I was looking at some of Shemaya's highlights too. Those freaking punches, you could see like Devaney was taking a good amount of punches, and Leanne, especially with Ruru and Corey, those were hard. But the one fight I remember was Robert Garcia and Adam Elams. Jesus Christ, Elams was taking a beating.
Yeah, and see, that's what Garcia told me, in the interview with me. He says he didn't think that, Elam's was going to take all those hits, and he credited him for being a tough guy, and he figured it was either going to go probably all 6 rounds, but like I joked with you, man, it's that old man strength, and that jaw was chiseled, man. So I just feel like, it's hard to knock out a 45-year-old when you're only 20. It kind of questions Garcia's power a little bit, but then again, it's like it seems pretty hard to knock out a 45-year-old, not average guy can do it. So, but Garcia's gonna be on a path to success, and I'm wishing nothing but the best for him.
Yeah, I think you and I are going to do a little bit more talking, maybe on a short podcast for some of the up-and-coming boxers that are in San Antonio. Shemaya, that atmosphere, you and I, we showed up together at the Techport Arena, and I remember your comment was just an amazement because it's like you said, it's like untapped gold at that arena. I mean, San Antonio has a big thing going, especially on the south side of town, man. Give everybody your opinion on that atmosphere as well, because our first one that we covered was at the Freeman Coliseum Event Center. This atmosphere was just totally different.
Yeah, no, this one was totally different. It was definitely just, I mean, like rock. It was electric. The people there, they were there because they're fans of boxing. You know, it wasn't just like, oh, we need to support a big name. No, it's some of the talent that's right here in the city of San Antonio, and the people showed up to support all the locals that were representing the city of San Antonio. So I thought that was big. And then you had people outside of the city of San Antonio coming to fight. That says a lot. And anyone who has any doubt that San Antonio can put on a show, they should just, go support. Stop talking about it, like be about it now, because San Antonio is on the rise. I think the city is on the rise, and people should understand that Rick, when he does stuff, he does it right. It's professional. It's clean. There's no stickers coming off the rope. It's legit, like real rope. It's everything's official. Like he's doing it big. He got TVs, panels, everything. I mean, the people, the support, the athletes. There are even Hall of Famers in that building. I believe Franco was there later that night. So it's people supporting, and it's just a matter of time before it goes mainstream. Like the clock is ticking. I think less than 5 years, y'all will see Rick as a household name, especially TMB promotions.
Oh yeah, dude, it's gonna be a household name. I mean, for sure. Great promotion stats. I know you weren't able to join us because you were heading out to Dallas for the Cowboys' miserable game, which you didn't have any idea it was going to be that bad. I'm sure if you knew it was that bad, you probably wouldn't have gone and saved your money for a different game that would have been competitive. But you've been in the TMB atmosphere, man. Your covering of the event as well. What was that atmosphere like? Because I don't think we talked about it much from the very last time that we covered it.
No, actually, yeah, we didn't actually talk about that, but I mean, the event environment is exciting, man. The fans really get into it, right from start to finish. It's like the energy level just goes up as the show continues. As you know, like Ruru, man, he's like awesome character, man. Just great character to have in those events too.
Heavyweight, you know what?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ruru, man. Brings all the energy. Everyone brings the energy, brings their A game to create this nice event. And that goes from the actual boxers to everyone behind the scenes, including us, media, the people who put the technicians, the people who put everything together to make it all into a successful experience. I'm really glad you guys got to go to the tech port, because that place just opened up, and I saw a show there. And it was really nice, very impressive. So I'm glad TMB got to have an event there in that event center, because it is a nice place. And I hope they're there again soon, because that's a really good venue to be in. It's just the right size for it too. The Coliseum is very nice as well, but Techport, man, it's brand new, and I'm glad that they are putting their imprint in that new venue.
Yeah, shout out to boxers. We're going to get more interviews with the boxers. Obviously, we get them after every fight. But, like as always, shout out to Dev Cuevas and Leanne Calderon Smith. Now, they put on another fantastic fight. And Leanne ended up winning the second match, so they're 1-1. Shout out to Rig, man, because we want to see the trilogy match there. We got to see who's going to win the overall, match there. But shout out to them. Shout out to Ruru, all those guys. What do you got?
Oh, no, I was going to say, and if I may add, full disclosure to people listening, I had never been to a boxing match in my whole life, so it was real electric. And if y'all, y'all say, y'all enjoy local boxing and don't want to support, man, the other boxer I forgot to mention was Bam Bam Rodriguez earlier. And if you don't think, local boxing is on the come up, Bam Bam Rodriguez is fighting this Saturday, defending his super flyweight title against Israel Gonzalez. And he's the co-main event to Canelo Triple G. This guy came from San Antonio, and he's the co-main event to Canelo Triple G. I know, Canelo and Triple G are on the older side now, but this guy's on the big stage, from San Antonio to, the smaller fight venues to now fighting in Vegas to Canelo, you gotta, see these boxers before they come up, and it's something special to see, people San Antonio boxers making a name for themselves.
Yeah, it was a great venue, man. Great thing. Like I said, give me a shout out to all the boxers out there. All you guys did a fantastic job. At the end of the day, the worst that can happen is a draw. But the thing is, there was some very memorable fights there. A lot of respect earned by a lot of boxers that night. It's just going to get better and better. This is Sweep the League podcast, Balla Boys podcast. I am Refocused Radio, and you have the big. Yeah, I keep reading it right. This is the D Gerv and Big Mo show. I always read it like I always get it confused.
I love how you just can't say it.
It's like
every single time.
I've got it in front of me, and I'm like, all you have to do is say the damn
it's like
word.
a fumble.
It is. I fumble that every
Oh.
single week. I have it written down, and I'm looking at like I can't read my chicken scratch for whatever reason. I have no idea.
It's like Detroit Lions trying to run the plays.
Well,
How you say that?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, man, shout out to the Detroit Lions. They kept it a game. I did not see that coming at all.
I
didn't. Rudy's reading is like when Young Hoku gets his field goal blocked from 63 yards.
You shut your fucking mouth, dude. I swear to God, man. I know. Okay, so I know Shemaiah's got to get ahead in a minute, and I want to get his thing on that, man. We're going to go right into football because we're going to save Manu for a little later on, but football, man. So all of our teams lost. And, with Derek, a Lions fan, which, again, sorry, Derek. And Candace, who I'm going to start talking about what she sent in the text messages earlier. All of our teams lost. But out of every loss that we've had on the teams, because the Lions, the Cowboys, and the Falcons, which one was the, most competitive loss, I guess is the best way to put it? Would it be the Falcons getting their field goal block to lose the game? I mean, it wasn't the Cowboys. The Cowboys had no chance. They didn't even show up. But then you've got the Lions. I have a lot of respect for Lions because, they put up 28 points. I mean, they were starting to mount a
I think they put up 35.
35 by 3.
Yeah.
So I want Shemaiah. What are you more impressed with, Shemaiah? Which losing team were you more impressed with?
As I'm trying to find my unmute button. I would say, man, Falcons, man.
You think the Falcons? They were ahead, and again,
I'm just saying because y'all have a much, much better record than we have ever. So it's like, I have to go with the Falcons. Y'all actually got to the Super Bowl before.
Yeah, but we're always a bridesmaid in the Super Bowl. Can never win the damn thing.
I mean, we don't even get to get an invitation to get in the locker room. So,
well, you got to join another team like Stafford did to have that opportunity. I think. Go ahead.
I was going to say real fast, and that's why I will be cheering for LA Rams this year again.
All right, the Stafford effect. I could be saying I could cheer for the Colts, and that wouldn't be too bad, I guess, because Matt Ryan's over there. But, I mean, the Falcons were up again. This is like the 6th game that they've lost where they've been up. And they just lose it, dude. I think, to me, the Lions were a lot more impressive. DeAndre Swift was fantasy gold yesterday.
Oh, yes, I have him.
Yeah, I mean, he was fantasy gold. For me, it's the Lions.
Too. Cordell Patterson was fantasy gold, man.
He was, but he's been fantasy gold since even last year. He was good. So I think I'm going to go with the Lions because they actually came back. This is to lose within 3 against an Eagles team who's probably one of the favorites in the NFC East. I mean, if not the favorite in the NFC East.
Oh, now, they're going to win the division.
Quickly, this is reason why. Reason why is because Detroit Lions, they're like a brand new big screen TV that you're trying to watch for a Super Bowl party. And when you plug it in to turn it on, it just doesn't work. That's Detroit Lions. No matter how great the game looked or how competitive they were, they're still like a joke.
God, man, I'm harsh on the Falcons, but you're like extra harsh on the Lions, dude.
Just cutting it with a dull blade, man. Jeez.
Yeah, it reminds me of Saul when he touched up his ankle.
Ooh,
that what?
So I use my fingernails to get
Yeah.
a dull blade.
Oh man, I'm gonna show this because I don't know if you guys ever seen Jack Reacher, the one with Tom Cruise, the first one. I just saw it recently for the first time. It's probably been out like 50 years, and I just haven't seen it. But to be a Falcon fan is like that scene where he says you need to cut off your thumb, but with your teeth, and you're just chewing it off. That's a Falcon fan right there. I mean, it's just
Ouch.
pure
Oh my
pain
gosh.
to be a Falcon fan. I don't know if it's that bad to be a Cowboy fan. Let's go to the Cowboy fan here.
Oh boy.
How
Well, they
does
don't
it-
have teeth. They use their
Yeah.
gums.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, after that
Exactly.
game,
Last time they won a Super Bowl, they had all gum, like their gums now.
yeah. I mean, after that game on Sunday, man, I don't know if the Cowboys have any fans.
Yeah. I would say Rock is probably
They lost
still
me,
there.
man. I was trying to be one.
I can't. I'm only a Cowboy fan by marriage.
I'm embarrassed I picked them to win on the Baller Boys podcast episode. That's how bad it is. Well, I have faith. And then I saw the game. I'm like, well.
Faith went out the window.
Yeah, and then Dak out 6 to 8 weeks too.
We're gonna get into that too. Rock, you got a lot to say about your Cowboys. Just go ahead and start, man.
Man, like, okay, like I understand the Cowboys had their flaws and stuff, but like the Cowboys need to do something, man. Like I have all love Dennis Houston, local guy, Noah Brown, whatever. But why the hell are they relying on rookies thinking, oh, it's gonna work out when CeeDee Lamb damn well get double teamed. Their offense line's already shaky, and Dak gets hurt. So like everything just goes wrong. But then Stephen Jones says today, we have all in the confidence road. We're going to turn around. How the hell is Cooper Rush going to turn it around? Like they can add a quarterback as soon as tomorrow. But like looking at the free agents earlier, because I was thinking about writing a story over it. You have Fitzpatrick out there. I guess not a bad option. Fitzmagic, whatever. He's 39 though. You have Mike Glennon. Mason Rudolph. It's like, dude, this season's just going to a shit show. And like, I'm just looking forward to a top 10 pick now because Cowboys want to fuck around and not add anyone because they have no one that can take out the top of the roof. And it's just disappointing because, I mean, the front office is like blaming it basically kind of on Dak and on the offense, but it's like them not doing anything. They ignore it because all they care about is making money. So it's like, it's just so frustrating to be a Cowboys fan. But like yesterday, watching the game, I was just laughing because I was like, man, like this is just a typical Cowboy shit.
Man, it was pretty bad, dude. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, I
But shout out to
felt that way
Micah.
too, man. Yeah. Micah's a beast, man. I felt so bad for him in that defense. They busted their asses last night, man.
And that's going to be the way they're going to win some games because of that defense. If Cooper Rush can just manage the game and, maybe the Cowboys can actually, they were running the ball pretty good at the beginning and it wasn't that bad. Zeke was averaging about 5.4 yards a carry and then they just abandoned it. You had Pollard with some good runs, but it's like, whatever. But I mean, later, Shemai, you be safe. But it was just so frustrating watching.
It was very, very frustrating for Cowboy fans. My wife quit watching the game after a while. She's a Cowboy fan here. My mom only watched it because we have squares. We still do that thing, so we try to make money on the side.
And I gotta say, like, I feel bad for Dak. A lot of people are kind of ignoring the fact that he just came back from an ankle injury. Like a lot of and everyone just seemed to be trashing him. And don't get me wrong, he didn't play well. And Rock, like you alluded to, they don't have any other targets. I was stunned that they didn't try to get Schultz more involved. Throughout the whole game. I'm like, where is he? Is he asleep? Is he even there? Is he in the game? They didn't design any plays for him. The offensive playbook was very stagnant. Zeke, like you said, Zeke had some nice runs here and there, but the offense, the passing game could not get going at all.
And it was confusing too. Why didn't they run Turpin? Turpin was getting all this hype, and he didn't really make a difference in the return game. I understand that was first game, but like, why not get Turpin in the slot and open field? I mean, Noah Brown didn't do bad. No, I don't mind Noah Brown. Noah Brown showed up last season. Had his moments as a wide receiver 4, and he made some big catches. But like, dude, like at the end, you see Cooper Rush 4th and 19, and he's like throwing his to Simi Fehoko, and this guy cannot catch the ball to save his life. And then like CD, is trying to get open, but like you have only so much time before CD can make a play. So it's like they need to get someone, man. Or like you want to try to watch. I imagine they're going to try to rush Michael Gallup back and thinking that it's going to solve anything, but you're just risking him to get hurt again, man. And it's just so frustrating.
Yeah, I thought they could have gotten Pollard more involved too. He was barely a factor in that game, and to me,
that's the most head scratching part. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm looking from the inside out when it comes to Cowboy fandom and stuff. But my thing is this: better are the running backs as Pollard. Let's not beat around the bush here. I mean, straight up, no shit talk. Pollard's a better running back. Even with a dismantled offensive line, he is still the better running back. Can we agree?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're going to have Zeke show like some flashes, just kind of not, I'm saying like his older self where he's back, but like a little bit flashes of like, I guess you could say like a 70% of his older self, those tough runs and he'll be able to get those first downs. But I mean, you saw when Pollard ran, he runs hard and he's quick enough to get those 5-6 yards to carry. But it just made some sense why they're not trying to use Pollard more. Like you said, use him in screens, design it. I mean, come on, man. Like, you have to make something work out here.
You can't. Okay, the other thing is, let's just put them all on the table. The running back situation, you can't get rid of Zeke because no one's going to take that stupid contract. So you're going to have to eat it. The offensive line was number one priority because if a quarterback is as good as you feel he is, if you can give your quarterback time, you can put mediocre receivers out there because they're not good route runners. Let's be honest. They're not good route runners. But if you give them time, you can develop plays as a wide receiver. So offensive line should have been the number one priority. But also coming into the season, when you give up your best wide receiver in Amari Cooper and don't replace him with anybody, and I don't give a shit what Cowboy fandom says, CeeDee Lamb was never and will never be a number one wide receiver. He's not that guy. And you've basically set up Dak Prescott, who is not a great quarterback. He's mediocre. When he was drafted, I was like, good. It's a good quarterback. And I've said it on the radio and everywhere. He's never going to lead you to a Super Bowl ever. I don't care if you give him Aikman's line and give him either Irvin or Emmitt Smith. He's not going to lead you to a Super Bowl. He's not that guy. So you've got to pick where you want to improve. I think the offensive line is number one. Dak can get you wins, but he's not going to get you titles. That's my feelings on everything.
And let's just say, I'll ask both of y'all, hypothetically, let's say the Cowboys just kind of just throw the season away, and let's say they get a top pick, hypothetically number one. If you're the Cowboys and you're saying Dak's not that guy, and I'm somewhat agreeing with you, I'll agree that Dak's good, not great. Can he lead a team to the Super Bowl? I say possibly, given I've seen worse quarterbacks lead it. You had Joe Flacco as a game manager.
Oh, but you can't compare Flacco. That defense was unstoppable.
Yeah, no, but the Cowboys defense is not unstoppable. It's pretty damn good. I mean, obviously they don't have an Ed Reed on the line or a Ray Lewis, but I'm just saying, around the right pieces around, if they build the team right, Dak can possibly have success. You get those breaks here and there, but going back to, if they have the number one pick, do you draft a quarterback if you don't think Dak's that guy and try to trade Dak?
I think so. I'll let Stats get on this because I want to hear a lot of his opinion on that.
Personally, I think, and I feel really bad for Dak. He's a good dude. Early when he was the camera, like the Titantron was on a shot of Dak, like firing up his guys. He looks like a guy who really cares about his craft. And I think he's just stuck in an organization that it feels shallow. The Cowboys organization feels shallow to me. And you guys mentioned something about money earlier, and that's exactly how it felt to me being in there. Just there's a lack of leadership. McCarthy is not the guy. The play calling was stale, stagnant. It just felt like they were sleepwalking, and it's unfortunate in this injury. Like we said, Dak just came back from an ankle injury. You could tell he was still affected by it. His throws weren't accurate. He didn't look too good. But his offense and his coordinators didn't help him at all with that either. But I think it is time. I think if they do bottom out here, they have a chance at getting a potential franchise quarterback in the draft. It might be time. I mean, you can have Dak start next season, have him come back, but have that guy on the bench behind him, and maybe it'll pressure Dak to play a little bit better. And it might be time to start really thinking about life without Dak.
Who's that guy, though? I mean, there's not a rookie coming in that you would say is that guy.
I mean, you have CJ Stroud and Bryce Young coming out, who are arguably going to be the two top quarterbacks coming out. I mean, Stroud looks pretty damn good at Ohio State, and then you saw what Bryce Young did to Texas near those ending drives. I know he didn't look too good to start, but I mean, kind of a comparison. People have compared him to Russell Wilson. I'm not saying he is, but that's just what comparisons have been thrown out. But you have those two guys coming out, and if they really think those are franchise quarterbacks who are arguably better than Dak, I mean, I would think so. Those two guys are, the better moves. There's going to be a team that'll probably be willing to trade, but I mean, it's not going to be Dallas's price what they want if they try to move on from Dak.
No, no team's going to trade for Dak. If they are, they're not going to give him anything worth. Okay, so you mentioned Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson was a 3rd-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Tom Brady's like damn near at the end of the draft. And I'm not saying, that's the thing. I don't see the Cowboys needing to draft a quarterback in the 1st round. I mean, if you're going to be mediocre, be mediocre. I mean, that's fine. Just start building it. And that offensive line is where you have to build it. I mean, you have to. So say the Cowboys get the 1st pick. Do you legitimately draft? Because next year's a defensive heavy draft.
Uh-huh.
So do you draft at number 1 or 2 or 3? Or do you do the Jimmy Johnson thing and trade that fucker down and grab draft picks? I mean
realistically, Jimmy, they're probably going to go the Jimmy Johnson way, but I mean, I can see Jerry becoming obsessed with that pick, because I mean, I'm looking at the mock draft, and you have this mock draft is just dumb. It just says the Atlanta taking a quarterback. I mean, I don't know why, but but number 3, Will Anderson, defensive end. He's arguably a Heisman favorite. I can see the Cowboys just trying to go after him, or even Jalen Carter out of Georgia, who's huge, man. I don't know if y'all seen the Georgia game, but a huge guy. But even then, also, they can say, well, I know we need a receiver, so we can draft, Kashawn Booty, wide receiver out of LSU, or like a Jordan Addison. It's like, we need a receiver, so I fixed it. It's like, oh my God, man.
Yeah. I mean, Stats, what are you doing if you're the Cowboys now? I mean, I even played with the fact of, just go get a backup somewhere. Go tell Jerry, hey, we'll give Carolina a 6th-round pick for, Sam Darnold. I mean, just
give me Minshew.
Or not even Minshew. You know what? They have a guy on the roster, Will Grier, West Virginia Mountaineer. West Virginia, great school. Why not just let him come in and just run wild with it?
It's interesting. So another name that I just thought of too is maybe the Cowboys should seriously consider trading for Jimmy G.
You can't though.
I've been hearing this all day.
Yeah, and I don't see it only because of the money, man. Like,
and while I agree, I don't know if Stats is up for it. But also money. But like, the idea of trading for Jimmy G, money's the biggest thing. But imagine the drama if Jimmy G's doing, let's say he's doing good, and the Cowboys go maybe 4-2, and Dak comes back. Do you sit Jimmy G or are you sitting Dak? They're gonna have to deal with that media battle, and there's that pressure. It's like, do we throw Dak right back in? And then Jimmy G, if you're Jimmy G and you got traded, you think you're gonna be the starter. It's like, imagine how pissed off you're gonna be if you just get thrown to the bench again.
Well, he just openly accepted being the backup to Trey in San Fran, knowing that his new restructured deal is exactly him just being a backup. So he seems like a kind of guy who would, happily take that back seat when Dak comes back.
But without an offensive line, I mean, can Jimmy G be mobile?
I think it's possible. I mean, I think they can get it done. They just got to figure out pieces. And another thing too is like Dallas. We talked about them not prepping, and yeah, the offensive line is not as good as it used to be. But I think there's also a play calling issue too. The offense just is deep rooted. Like it's deep rootedly flawed in that aspect. I think right from the get go, where it's just not creative enough. They're not just like applying like jet sweeps and doing anything really creative with their receivers. They're not using Pollard in the slot too much. He's not really active in the pass game. But they did bring in Washington. They brought in Gallup, and of course they re-signed Gallup. But it's unfortunate those guys got hurt, and that's stuff you can't really see, like ahead of time. But it just feels like a lack of preparation, a lack of discipline. Jimmy G would just bring that veteranship, and yeah, there's money, but the defense is really good, and a lot of people are talking about the Dallas offense looking bad. I mean, Tampa Bay was a shell of itself on Sunday night. I mean, no one's talking about that. I mean, Leonard Fournette was balling, but that's because it's all they had going for them. Like Evans and Fournette were the only two people really doing anything on that team. Yeah. Brady was uncomfortable the entire night in the pocket. He got sacked a lot. You could tell he was a little bit rattled himself. And the play calling on the Tampa Bay end of things was very, very safe and conservative, if y'all noticed that. They didn't really take too many shots, too many chances. I think the biggest play of the game was that Julio bomb down the field, and that was about it. But yeah,
I still debated if he caught that. That was
a nasty catch, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I think, yeah, it was a debatable catch, but I get what Stats is saying. So, okay, Stats, because that was my next point before we moved on here was, did the Dallas Cowboy defense look that good, or the Bucs look that bad on offense?
I think the Cowboys defense looked that good. I think they were putting pressure on Brady in the pocket the entire night. And don't get me wrong, there are some issues on this Buccaneers offense too. Godwin actually left the game. He had a hamstring injury. Mike Evans is like the only real healthy guy outside of Jones. And then Fournette, like they barely used Fournette in the passing game too. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of surprised with how conservative their play calling was on their end. I think they were nervous about this Dallas defense. They were rattled right from the get-go. So I have to give props to this Cowboys defense for actually getting into it. Felt like they got to Brady's head like a few times. And like Bowles was really thinking about protecting his guy, his 45-year-old quarterback. Didn't want him to get hurt, but he still got physical, man. He still got tackled, still got sacked. And they stopped him. And there's a reason they only had 19 points, man. Ryan Suckup, I hope you had him on your fantasy teams because that guy got you points, man.
And I think Tampa's really going to struggle. You're going to see it, man. I mean, they showed a stat where, they had an offensive line that, with a lot of experience. But yesterday they started 3 rookies on the offensive line. And then their best, I think it was left tackle or left guard, one of those, Donovan Smith, he goes out with an injury. And Dallas was just giving, Tampa Bay problem. Tampa Bay would get down the field, and right when they get in the red zone, you had Micah come up with 2 big sacks. But Tampa's going to struggle against tougher defenses, man. I mean, kind of going in the season, I knew that Tom would struggle, even though it's Tom Brady. But now you're without Godwin again. I mean, Mike Evans is Mike Evans, but he's going to do his work. And then Julio, Julio had his catches, but it was just kind of weird how they incorporated him. I mean, they had him doing, some handoffs, which I never seen Julio do. It was kind of cool to see. But then Russell Gage too. But I mean, the Buccaneers are going to be a weird team to watch. But it's Tom Brady. But I don't see them going far.
Yeah, and their offseason was like you talk about their O-line, Rock. Their O-line was decimated in the offseason. Yeah. Like Ryan Jensen not there, Kappa not there. Those were big major vets on that O-line to help protect Brady, and they lost that. And now Smith going down, who knows how long he's going to be out. But but they have a good receiving core. But I mean, for Dallas Cowboys to even, keep them at 19 points with that stacked receiving core, that's pretty impressive. And I'll go ahead and close with this. I'll tell you what, Tom Brady misses Gronkowski there in the red zone. He was so important to that Tampa Bay offense, and they have not replaced him at all. You can have Russell Gage, you can have Julio Jones, but they needed a big body tight end for Brady to have a safety valve down there. And that was so apparent in this game against a good defense.
Week 1 overreaction here before we go on to Manu Ginobili at the Hall of Fame ceremony. And I think do we have sweep or keep tonight, or are we saving that for next week?
Ooh, I could do a short sweeper keep tonight.
Oh yeah, we'll do one or maybe two. But we have Manu Ginobili Hall of Fame, and we have a quick takeaway from the Longhorns. Awesome game against Alabama.
Hey, it was awesome, even though they lost. It was awesome.
I'll give you credit. It was a really good game. It was no App State and A&M, but it was a really good game. Takeaway from week 1, it's overreaction time. Who do we see the best team in the AFC? Who do we see the best team in the NFC? Start with Rock on this one.
Well, best team in the AFC. If you say overreaction, I would say the Chiefs still, man. I mean, the Chiefs look pretty hot, and Patrick Mahomes looked like he was rolling still. I think Patrick Mahomes, if I'm not mistaken, threw 5 TDs against a Cardinals team. He looked fine without Tyreek Hill. I know. I mentioned Tyreek Hill. The Dolphins also won against the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say NFC wise, a team that may make some noise is the Eagles, man. I hate to admit it, but the Eagles could get up there. I mean, I thought personally the Packers would be that team and they would beat the Vikings easily, but dude, no one can control Jay Jetta on that team. And Jay Jetta looked like, not saying he's Randy Moss, but like that Randy Moss, meme where he had, I don't know how many touchdowns he had.
It was like 3 catches for like 160 yards.
And like someone put on me all over Twitter, Jay Jetta is like Randy tonight, and it was like comparing, and I'm like, dude, the Packers cannot guard Justin Jefferson, man. Like, it's ridiculous how good he is. But yeah, those are my 2 overreactions. I would say Eagles and Chiefs.
Cool. Stats, what do you got?
Oh man. Shoot. Okay. So this might change at some point. Like down.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm just trying to think of like just a lot of factors going into these picks. Let's see. I'm gonna go with, you know what? They just got decimated by the Bills, but I think I'm gonna go with the Rams on this one. The Eagles do look really good. The Vikings cannot be slept on. Like you said, Jefferson's just a beast, but their defense looks good too for what they were able to do against Rodgers and the Packers. But there's a lot to talk about there. But I'm going to go with the Rams on this one. The Niners just lost Mitchell. Their run game is going to struggle a little bit. But we'll see. It's either going to be San Fran or the Rams there. I don't think Tampa is good enough to get to the Super Bowl. I think they can, but I don't think they're going to. But as far as the AFC, for me, it's going to be between the Bills and the Broncos. I haven't quite decided on which one. The Bills have an explosive offense. They have a really good defense, but the Broncos are very balanced as well. And you got a Russell Wilson who's looking to prove himself in a new place. And storylines speak volumes in the NFL. So it's going to be between one of those two for me.
I actually agree. For the AFC, for me, I mean, the Bills, I think, is up there. I do like the Chiefs. One team that surprised me that I'm not gonna sleep on in the AFC is, I can't lie, man, the Chargers. I just when Herbert got hot towards the end against the Raiders, and I think the Raiders were a very good test early week 1 for Herbert, but now with Keenan Allen possibly out for a little bit, I don't know, man. Just that Charger feeling has a good feeling this year for Herbert and the Chargers. I think I still have the Bills and Chiefs ahead of him. Mahomes, it's week 1. He's been doing that. What do you have, like 5 straight years where he has 3 or more touchdown passes in game 1. So I don't want to get too excited. I think Edwards-Helaire kind of came out of his shell in that game, which I kind of liked. I told you guys to watch for Isaiah Pacheco as well. But on the NFC side, man, wow. The Rams are impressive, obviously. But on the NFC side, guys, I don't know why, but it's time to skull big time. The Vikings, even with a not so good Packers team, it's something about that Vikings team. They are the Kawhi Leonard of the NFL right now, actually in the NFC. I mean, their defense is stout. Their offense, if Kirk Cousins can just do what he's asked to do, that offense will take care of itself. They've got the line, they've got the receivers. I mean, the addition of Rieger to Jefferson and Thielen. I mean, you've got a three-headed monster there. You've got a double duty backfield of Cook and Matson. It's probably wicked and wild, but we could see a Bills Vikings Super Bowl, which I don't think we would have ever said at all at any time of the year.
Little trivia there. Actually, the Bills and the Vikings are the only two teams in the NFL who have lost 4 Super Bowls.
Oh God!
Yikes!
So
what are
that
the
would
chances
be
they
a
go to a tie?
tiebreaker. Yeah, it would be a tiebreaker for the loser.
Wow. Oh man, yeah, that would be some crazy stuff if they kept tying 6 overtimes later. Look, guys, we got to have a win. We've got to have a win. We're almost done here on Sweep the League here every single Monday night. We got a couple of topics, and we're going to sweep the Sweeper Key. Let's run through these topics real quick, man. Rock, Longhorns, impressed or not? Because I still say they're going to lose to UTSA this weekend.
I was impressed with how cohesive the team was, because if you look last year, the team was more of a playing for themselves. And even some of the players had said, when the Horns led up that 82-yard run to Jace McClellan, who's from Texas, and he played at Alito, ironically was wanting to go to Texas, but Tom Herman just ignored him. But after that run, Roshan Johnson was saying, last year's team would have just crumbled, but they came back together and was pretty stout against the Alabama offense. Some people can say, well, this isn't an Alabama offense that you've seen in the past, but man, if anyone watched the game, you saw Jahmyr Gibbs just killing it. Bryce Young, Heisman favorite. Wrecking that defense apart and picking them apart real easily. And those red shoes made plays at the end, but they lost, and I'm not a moral victory guy, but this is like the most positive sign I've seen from the Horns in a while. Going in there competing and not getting too full themselves, but they beat themselves. I understand people can say the refs, this and that, but even Coach Sarkisian said it. You were in the red zone 5 times, you scored once, they got to execute. That's on them. And, no one can blame the refs. They did make crappy calls, but it's football. So they get those touchdowns, they execute. That defense was carrying them the whole way, but eventually, it's going to catch up to you if the offense is stagnant. It does suck that Quinn Ewers got hurt, but, like I was texting you, the offense is really different, and you saw the offense really different because Quinn's slinging, all around, and he just looked like a god out there in a sense. I know it's kind of overreaction, but he looked super good in one quarter against an Alabama defense. But I'm really nervous about this game against UTSA. I'm not going to share who I'm cheering for, even though y'all probably already know. But I am going to wear a UTSA polo, so don't worry. But it's going to be a good game. And even Coach Taylor was previewing the game today. He knows it's going to be a real good game, and he credits the Longhorns, whoever they put out. And he knows it's going to be a real tough game in a hostile environment. But it's going to be one of those trap games that the Horns, don't look ahead of themselves right now.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a great game. Great game this weekend. UTSA, Texas Longhorns. Real quick, we're going to go to Sweeper Keep It Real. Before we do, shout out to Manu Ginobili on the Hall of Fame induction. I was able to talk to Jeff Garcia this morning, actually, about it. Released the Locked On Spurs podcast. Go take a listen to that on the Locked On Network. That is the Locked On Spurs podcast. And breaking news, as of right now, Jeff Garcia is going to be a guest on Monday night with us here on Sweep the League. So be sure to look out for that next week. Next Monday, Jeff Garcia will be joining us here on Sweep the League. Sweeper Keep, come on, Stats. We got a couple here, so let's get to it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the segment Sweep or Keep, where we decide if you sweep, which means you don't like this, you don't like the tweet, you don't like the story, you don't like a quote, or you're going to keep, which means you love it and you want to put it up on your mantle over the fireplace. So let's get started. Join in the fun. Let us know your thoughts on Twitter, on Facebook. Sweep the League, Sweep or Keep. Here we go, gentlemen. So first one up is a quote from our good friend Gilbert Arenas on Giannis Antetokounmpo. So here's what Gilbert says. He doesn't really understand how to be great, how to be better, how to train his body. Gilbert Arenas on Giannis. Sweep or keep?
Go ahead, Rock. I'm gonna let you.
I'm sleeping the hell out of this. I mean, Gilbert is with a score, good guy. I kind of remember briefly of him. when he was in the league, and Rudy and Stats probably knows more in depth about him, so I'm not going to act like I know a lot. But I remember him playing, scorer at will. But dude, Giannis is 10 times better than what Gilbert Arenas will ever be. I mean, Gilbert Arenas is mostly known for bringing a gun in the locker room. I mean, Giannis is a champion. I understand.
He's more known for that, but I mean,
yeah, exactly, he is. I mean, he's more known for that.
No, you're talking about an all-star guard too, man. I mean,
no, he's more known for the incident. As much as people want to say, you say Gilbert Arenas, the first thing people are going to say is brought a gun in the locker room. I guarantee you, man.
we gotta have that as a poll. We gotta do a poll on that.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Man. He is, but I understand that, people are kind of scared with the whole Giannis thing because he did tweak his ankle in the Euro Cup right now. I don't know if they're still in exactly. I have to keep up, but I mean, Giannis is 10 times whatever Gilbert Arenas will ever be. He's arguably the best player in the league right now. You could say it's a real big debate, but he's only going to get better. That's a scary thing. So I'm sweeping it.
I don't really give a shit what Arena says ever. I'll sweep whatever he says 99.9% of the time. What's the next one, Stats?
All right, so next one and last one on this kind of short but to the point edition of Sweep or Keep. So we got a quote here from Stephen A. Smith. And it's not necessarily about sports, but I want to get y'all's take on this. So Stephen A. Smith said, I said, if the American people wanted me to run for the presidency of the United States of America, I would strongly consider it. And damn it, I mean it. Stephen A. Smith on running for the president of the United States. Gentlemen, sweep or keep?
Oh, Stephen A. is president. I mean, I almost have to sweep that. I can't. I mean, getting bad Cowboy takes and tweets every day would be horrid. So, you know what? I don't know. If you really want to be president, just run for presidency. I've even had thoughts of running for president, but I know I don't have the money and I don't have the experience. But yeah, I'm gonna sweep it. Can you just imagine the screaming at every single press conference and the way he would talk about other countries and are they out of their damn mind? Like I just can't do it. Yeah, sweep it for me.
I'll keep it just because it'd be hilarious to see what he would have to say, and I can just already see a lot of Stephen A. Fans or just people that laugh at what he says on TV, just voting for him just because you have those random celebrities running for stuff. I think you had Herschel Walker running for governor, and then some other celebrities I can't even think of the top of my head. So I wouldn't be surprised if Stephen A. tried to run, and a lot of people will vote for him because of his name. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say, man. I mean, I'll keep it just for now, but that's just weird to see him. I would be weird to see him as president.
How about those debates, though?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, can you imagine those looks that he gives them, like the squinty eyes and the really? Like, are you kidding me? What would it be? Okay,
like stay off the weed.
What if you had this right here? You had two guys running for president. Who would you vote for? We're gonna end the show on this. Who would you vote for? Okay, here are your three candidates: Stephen A., Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless. Shannon Sharp. Between Stephen A. and Skip Bayless, who are you voting for?
Oh, I'm gonna go Stephen A.
Stephen A.
Stephen A. Yeah, Stephen A. At least we'll keep it real. I just can't with Skip, man.
Does Skip even make 4 years if he becomes president?
We don't need any more old presidents, man.
Oh my God, that would be hell of a debate, though. That would be one hell of a debate. I don't know any type of moderator that can be able to control that.
I don't need a president who averaged 0.8 points in high school basketball trying to talk to me about what policy.
Didn't Steven average like 1 or 2?
No, Skip averaged 0.8.
Well, yeah, I know.
Steven is. Oh, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't tell you that. I just know Skip's iconic 0.8 points.
Well, either way, none of us can average, anything in the NBA, or I don't know. I had a pretty good basketball average growing up, so I can say I averaged double digits at least one season. outside of that, one thing is for sure that this show has come to an end. We've talked TMB promotions. We talked Dak Prescott, all the Cowboy problems. Rock gave a little assessment of the Longhorns' loss. Took a shot at the Aggies because Rock loves taking shots at the Aggies.
Oh yeah.
Also made mention of Manu Ginobili in his Hall of Fame career. Again, shout out to Manu Ginobili. Go listen to Locked On Spurs with myself and Jeff Garcia. It is out on the Locked On Network. So for Rock, for stats, for Shemaya on the beats, no, Shemaya on the way to Las Vegas, Candace Avila Garcia, Derek Irvin, this is Rudy Campos Jr. Till we sweep the league again next week, we'll see y'all soon, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Go App State, baby.